The Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip. Queen Elizabeth's husband, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, has passed away. He was 99 years old. In light of the sad news, we're taking a look back at his childhood and overall life. Longest serving royal consort. With 70 years in the public eye, Prince Philip is the longest serving royal consort in British history. However, while his adult life was one of privilege and duty, the prince's childhood was marked by tragedy and loneliness. Let's have a look at the life of Prince Philip. Be with us. A peripatetic childhood. Born on the Greek island of Corfu on June 10, 1921, to Prince Andrew of Greece and Denmark and Prince Alice of Battenberg, Philip was sixth in line to the Greek throne. So like his future wife Queen Elizabeth, Philip was the child of the youngest son of a reigning European monarch, but his start in life couldn't have been more different. In 1922, Philip's uncle, the King of Greece, was forced to abdicate after the Greco-Turkish War's debacle. Philip's father, who was working in the army, was accused of treason and exiled. The family fled to Paris, where they would be based for the next decade, but it was an extremely difficult period for them. Though his parents both adored him, Philip saw little of them in his nomadic early years. Ede notes in his book. His mother's nerves had been badly strained by the family's exile from Greece, and because of this, the children were regularly packed off to friends and relations. In 1931, Princess Alice suffered from a nervous breakdown and she was confined to a sanatorium in Switzerland. The children had been taken out for the day and they returned that evening to find their mother gone, Ede adds. She was later reportedly diagnosed with schizophrenia. With his four older sisters married to German aristocrats and settled in Germany, and his father in the south of France, Philip was alone at just 10 years old. Years later, when an interviewer for The Independent asked him what language he spoke at home, he answered, "What do you mean, at home?" He wasn't the oldest British royal family member ever. Although he lived to be near 100, Prince Philip didn't beat the record for the oldest British royal family member in history. That honour belongs to Princess Alice, the wife of Queen Elizabeth's uncle. She died in 2004 at the age of 102. Queen Elizabeth's mother, also called Queen Elizabeth and known as the Queen Mother, was very long-lived as well, and was the first royal family member to make it to 100. She died in 2002 at the age of 101, but Prince Philip was the oldest male British royal family member in history. All three of the longest-lived royals entered the family by marriage. The oldest British royal by descent was another Princess Alice, Countess of Athlone, Queen Victoria's granddaughter who died in 1981 at the age of 97. And yes, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip are secretly related. His relatives were Nazis. His older sisters didn't just get married, they got married to Nazis. A fact Queen Elizabeth isn't likely eager to have the world to know. When Philip's sister Cecile and her husband, both Nazi party members, died in a plane crash in 1937, young Philip was sent to Germany for the funeral and had to walk in the procession among Nazi soldiers. None of Philip's sisters were invited to his wedding in 1947, but the royal couple reunited with his German relations in 2015. Prince Philip, of course, can't help who his relatives are, and he himself went on to fight for the Allies as a Royal Navy officer in World War II. Also, Philip's mother, Princess Alice, sheltered Jews during World War II when she was living in Athens. She was honoured with the title Righteous Among the Nations on Princess Alice by Holocaust Memorial Yad Vashem for her actions and is buried in Jerusalem. He was an artist and designer. In retirement, Prince Philip also had the time for one of his other pursuits, painting. An art exhibition for his 90th birthday in 2011 celebrated his works as an artist. displaying his paintings as well as his designs for jewellery, including a bracelet for his wife and stained glass windows that were part of the Windsor Castle restoration after it was damaged in a fire. One of the most striking works Prince Philip has ever painted features a subject he knows well, the Queen in a very private moment, simply reading the newspaper in The Queen at Breakfast, Windsor Castle, in 1965. Prince Philip's pet name for Queen Elizabeth will melt your heart. He was a war hero. Prince Philip accomplished much in his youth as a member of the Royal Navy, starting at age 18 as a midshipman. In World War II, he was mentioned in dispatches for a searchlight control in the March 1941 Battle of Matapan of Greece. He was also awarded the Greek War Cross of Valor. Another story of Prince Philip's wartime heroics came to light in 2002 when a fellow veteran told the story of how one night, under heavy bombardment, the Duke had the idea to divert a German plane's attention by throwing a raft and smoke floats overboard. The ruse worked and the ship was able to escape. Prince Philip saved our lives that night, the veteran said. Philip was named Admiral of the Fleet in 1953. School life. Philip did not see or receive any word from his mother between the summer of 1932 and the spring of 1937. It's simply what happened, the prince later commented. The family broke up. My mother was ill, my sisters were married, my father was in the south of France. I just had to get on with it. You do, one does. With no parents to care for him, Philip's mother's family, the Milford Havens and the Mountbattens, stepped in. The family had ties to the British royal family and many of the royal houses of Europe. Alice was a great-granddaughter of Queen Victoria and the oldest daughter of Louis Mountbatten, the first Marquess of Milford Haven. Under the care of his aunts and uncles, Philip went on to school in England and was then briefly educated in Germany at a school owned by one of his sister's husbands. Less than a year later, Philip returned to Britain and was sent to Gordonstoun, a boarding school in Scotland. While he was there, Philip experienced another series of tragedies. When he was 16, his sister Cecile, her husband, and their 2 children were killed in a plane crash. Just a few months later, his uncle and guardian, George Mountbatten, the second Marquess of Milford Haven, died suddenly of cancer at the age of 46. Gordonstoun's German headmaster, Kurt Hahn, was the one to break the news. His sorrow was that of a man, his headmaster is said to have recalled. Meeting the Queen. When Philip left school, he joined the Royal Navy and enrolled at the Royal Naval College in Dartmouth, England, on the advice of his uncle, Lord Louis Mountbatten. This is where the 18-year-old cadet would meet his third cousin, 13-year-old Princess Elizabeth. 7 years later, in 1947, the pair announced their engagement. What should have been a happy time must no doubt have been marked by all that Philip was missing. His father had passed away in 1944, his mother returned to Greece during the war, and his sisters were all married to Germans. How do you find the legacy of Prince Philip? Comment down your honest thoughts below. Drop us a like and consider subscribing to this channel to stay updated about future uploads. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.